We literally hear it every single day in business. Everyone's always asking, well, what's the bottom line? But if we're genuinely trying to understand a company's financial health, does that famous bottom line actually tell us the whole truth? Think about a single dollar of revenue for a second. The very moment a business earns a dollar, it starts getting sliced up and handed out. Today in this explainer, we're going to track that dollar as it travels all the way down the income statement. We're going to peel it back layer by layer, pretty much exactly like an onion, to see where the money actually goes. So here is our roadmap. We're going beyond the bottom line, peeling back layer 1 with gross margin, layer 2 with operating margin, and layer 3 with net profit. Then we'll talk about interpreting the overall story and, crucially, avoiding some really common margin traps. All right, part 1, beyond the bottom line. We're going to completely shatter the myth right now that net income is the only metric that matters. To do that, we have to look at profitability ratios. And please don't just think of these as dry numbers on a spreadsheet. Think of them as forensic tools. They allow us to diagnose exactly where a business is thriving or, conversely, where it's leaking cash at different stages of its operations. Because they express various levels of income as a straight percentage of sales, they let us compare performance perfectly regardless of how big or small a company is. Moving right into layer 1, gross margin. Let's peel back that very first layer of the onion. Gross margin is the ultimate test of the core viability of what a company is actually selling. It captures performance purely after the direct cost of goods sold is subtracted. So before you pay your accountants, way before you run an expensive ad campaign, does the product itself actually make money? That's what this layer is answering for us. The formula? It's just gross profit divided by net sales. Super straightforward, right? But don't let the simplicity fool you. It is the absolute foundation of everything that follows on the income statement. Honestly, if this number is broken, the whole business model is usually broken. Let's ground this with a real scenario from our source material. Take Amy's Market in year 6. Amy generated over $3.5 million in net sales. Amazing. But after she paid for the actual merchandise, the groceries she's selling, her gross profit was just over $1 million. That leaves her with a 29% gross margin, meaning out of every dollar she rings up at the register, 29 cents survives that very first cut. Here is a golden rule for you as an analyst. That gross profit margin percentage needs to stay pretty stable even when sales bounce around. If Amy's sales jump by 10% next year, her gross profit dollars absolutely must jump by at least 10% to keep that 29% margin constant. If sales go up but the margin percentage suddenly drops, that's a massive red flag. It tells us production costs are spiraling or she's slashing prices way too much just to chase those sales. Okay, layer 2, operating margin. Now we strip away the costs of actually running the business machine. This margin shows the day-to-day efficiency of the operations. We take that gross profit and we subtract selling, general, and administrative expenses. We're talking wages, store supplies, depreciation, advertising. It basically tells us how well management is keeping a lid on the overhead required to just keep the lights on. We find this by taking operating income and dividing it by net sales. This captures a much deeper layer of performance. And notice, we are looking at this strictly before non-core items, interest and taxes enter the picture. We only care about the core business activities here. Back to Amy's Market. What happens to that 29 cents we had left over? Well, peeling away those operational costs drops our margin drastically. Her operating income is about $120,000. Our margin has now plummeted from 29% down to just 3.4%. The operations of the business are eating up a huge chunk of her initial profit. And finally, layer 3, net profit. We've reached the center of the onion, the ultimate reality check after all external obligations are met. This is what the business actually gets to keep after creditors take their cut in interest and the government takes its cut in taxes. This, right here, is your true bottom line. Calculated simply as net income divided by net sales. It's the most famous ratio for sure, but as you're seeing, it's really just the final destination of a very long, bumpy journey down the income statement. For Amy, this final cut goes deep. In year 6, she paid roughly $38,000 in interest and over $37,000 in taxes. Her final net income? Just over $55,000. Her true bottom line is a tiny 1.6% net margin. Out of that original dollar of sales we started with, only 1.6 cents makes it to the very end. Which brings us to part 5, interpreting the margin story.
Now, punching these formulas into a calculator, that's the easy part. But to really understand a business, you must learn to interpret the changes in these margins over time. Good analysts track all three, gross, operating, and net, together holistically. If gross margin is holding totally steady at the top, but the operating margin suddenly takes a nosedive, you instantly know the product cost isn't the issue. It's that the overhead or administrative costs are bloating. You really have to read the space between the lines.
And here's where it gets really strategic. You might see Amy's 1.6% net margin and think she's failing, but a low net margin isn't inherently bad. This ties into a core concept from the DuPont model of return on equity. A grocery store can totally thrive on a 1% margin if it has high asset turnover, meaning it sells that inventory incredibly fast and uses appropriate leverage. On the flip side, a luxury jeweler absolutely needs a massive net margin because their asset turnover is terribly low. They might only sell one ring a week. Both can achieve a perfectly acceptable return on equity, they just have completely different cost structures.
Let's finish up with part 6, avoiding common margin traps. We want to make sure you can spot the common pitfalls out there. First up, never confuse operating income with net income. Operating income reflects your core business engine. Net income gets distorted by how you finance things with debt and how you're taxed. Second, avoid the single margin trap. One margin never tells the whole story. A fantastic gross margin means nothing if your operating costs are bleeding you dry. And lastly, always watch for stability in that gross margin when sales fluctuate. So keep this layered thinking in your back pocket. The next time you see a headline screaming about a company's bottom line, pause and ask yourself, what's happening at the gross level? How efficient are those daily operations? Armed with these 3 ratios, you're never going to look at a simple income statement the same way again. Next time you see a revenue dollar, ask yourself, where exactly is it going?